Welcome, amazing agents from across the country. Today is Thursday, November 29th, 2018, and this is Mastermind call number 204. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. We haven't talked to you in about 2 weeks. Couple things I wanted to announce before we get started. We had some really good candidates for winner of the week last time. We had Richard Rue came in a close second, but our winner of the week is our extraordinary ISA, Sam Bingham. So, Sam, if you're on the call, afterwards just call in or send us an email. Let us know if you'd prefer some prehistorical or a discount on your next set of leads. So she gave us a great story of just multiple deals that she's done over the last year. So long-term client, she actually gets on the phone. And, by the way, Scott Stevens, if you're on, please hit *6 and hit 1. Scott had a great story to share. One of our ISAs set an extraordinary appointment for him this week. So I'll wait and let him tell the story, hopefully. Chad, anything you want to share with the group?
I would say some people are probably wondering what's going on with lead follows, so I'll let that cat out of the bag. So we launched a beta test for a digital marketing service to personal representatives on your behalf. And anyone who signed up for that, we had nearly 100 people sign up as soon as we launched. And we're in the process of building out your landing pages, getting your audiences set up. And we should be running ads, if not later this week, by the beginning of next week. We kind of said give us 7 days because we knew that was going to happen. But so at least by Monday morning, we'll be running Facebook retargeting campaigns to the personal representatives of the subscribers who jumped in. And as a bonus, instead of doing it, we charged you for 1 month, but we're actually marketing to your last 6 lead delivery files if you have that many. So we pumped the audience up and use the $2 for the campaign. So if you're wondering what's going on, the system is not built to notify you yet, so I'm doing that here. But by next week, we should have everybody's campaigns running, and we'll report back with the results.
And Chad, I'm sure we got a ton of people on the call. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that, we try to be as full service as we can. We started out just providing leads and coaching and training, and then we added the mail component, and then about a year ago we added the call component because we were tired of seeing, too many of our agents fail because they weren't picking up the phone. And do you see this as a supplement to what we're already doing, or instead of one of the other components? What's the best way to use this, and maybe give everybody just a brief summary of what you're doing to answer their questions?
Sure. So this is built to work in conjunction. So you're sending direct mail, you're making phone calls. Some people are door knocking, networking attorneys, and this is just one more step in a campaign sequence that we can automate for you, so it doesn't add any additional work on your part. So what we're going to do is take your probate list, upload that into Facebook into a custom audience, which we're getting about an 86% average match rate, meaning if you have 100 personal representatives, we can find 86 of them on average. And then over the next 30 days, we'll follow them around Facebook and all other hundreds of other websites, and we'll basically be, in the banner ad section. When they click on an ad, that will land them on a conversational landing page. So it's not going to look like a traditional landing page. These get about 500% higher conversion because they only show one field at a time. So it's, hey, thanks for stopping by. What brought you here today? And they type in, I saw an ad, I'm an administrator. Well, based on what their response is to each field, we, serve up a different field next. So it's artificial intelligence that's working them, like engaging them in a full conversation, so we can get a lot more information and a lot more specific information off of this type of a landing page than we ever would from a web form. So once we've captured as much information as they're willing to give us, they'll basically sit and have a conversation with your landing page until they are tired or they've completely finished the form. Either way, when they click submit, we'll send you a text message and an email immediately so you can jump on the phones and call them. And with the idea being call them in the first 2 minutes because they're at their computer thinking about this. So that's that's what we're doing for the test. Now the vision and the evolution of this will be we're actually going to produce video ads. That's something we have a lot of experience with. But we're going to build out video ads, and we'll also build stuff for the Google platform as well as Facebook. So we'll have a full digital marketing suite, like service for you, as we get this rolling. But right now we're building software and figuring out the logistics of all this. So we're going to focus on Facebook retargeting for this first round, and then once we've got that all proven out, then it's a well-oiled machine. Then we'll expand the offering.
Yeah, and at risk of being nice to one of my partners, we always give each other a hard time. Chad raised his hand a couple of years ago and offered to do this for our company, and I knew we were on the right track when my wife and I were on a trip one time, and my wife went on, checked the rest stop finder to see where the nearest rest stop was, and right after I saw one of our company ads. I said, he's doing something right here. Chad, you've done an extraordinary job of making it work for the company, so we're taking that same concept and trying to make it work for our customers. And Chad, I know the other question we're going to get, you've already started the beta test, but people that are interested in being next, is there somewhere they should go, or how should they notify us?
We don't have a wait list right now. You guys will see emails from me, and you'll hear about it on this call whenever we have final pricing for the product. And I'll have a web page up where it'll have all the details and samples of the landing pages and probably videos where you can actually see some of this stuff happening. So give it 30 days. It may be in January before this is kind of in your subscriber portal where everybody can order it. If you didn't get into the beta test and you still want to jump in, find the email that I sent you on Monday afternoon around 4:30, I think is when I sent that out, or jump in our All the Leads Mastermind Facebook group, and you'll see a photo that beta testers wanted. And there's a link in the bottom of that thread. Click on the link. If you just comment, it won't work. You need to click on the link and go to that page. But we'll cut it off after this call. But we've got a good test group. If you want to get involved, you can still do that right there. And then in another 30 days or so, we'll have a live product page for you to order from, and you can order directly from Subscriber Portal.
Excellent. Great job, Chad. And this is just first of many, or at least several new initiatives that we're going to be unveiling in the next few months. Tim, are you on the call yet?
I am indeed.
Anything you'd like to share with the group, sir?
Chad just went over the cool new stuff that we're doing, and we're also doing a bunch of digging on some of the other products that we've talked about. I know we've sort of pre-announced several times that we're trying to shag divorce, and we've not quite gotten that in our bag yet. We continue to look, and we're looking at a couple of other things that we know we'll be rolling out in the first quarter, and it's exciting. I mean, it's an exciting time for us. It's been a great year. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Let's keep going.
Excellent. Tom, anything you'd like to share?
Just my normal. We're out here to help. If you've got any questions, issues, please just get us an email at support@alltheleads.com, or if you're in your account area under support, there's a contact us. We track all those items and assign them to the appropriate people to get back to you on a timely basis. So just be as specific as possible as what you're looking for, and we'll be back with you as quickly as we can. That's it.
Excellent. All right, perfect. We have 4 people in the queue. We generally cut the queue off at about 30 minutes after to make sure we can get the call over with, done, not over with, but completed, let you all get back to work, after an hour. So if you do have something, please log in now. Hit *6 and hit 1. Don't wait until I shut the queue off. That happens every week. And we do have plenty more room, so nothing is out of bounds, nothing is off base. It's *6 and hit 1, and now we have 6 people in there. Thank you. First up this week, go ahead, Chad.
Before we get rolling, I'm going to jump off about 10 minutes till the hour because I have mastery today.
Oh, so if you want our coach to answer the question, get in there even earlier. The first person in the queue now is phone number ending in 9731. You're up first.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Rob Quinn in Cleveland.
Hey, Rob.
I just wanted to share a success that I recently had. So I received my first batch of leads from my county in September, And so that was 69 leads, and I've had 2 months since. And within the first batch of leads, the first letter going out, I did receive an email. And so based off that email, we've gone back and forth for a couple months, and so I actually did finally list that house. So price being about $140,000. And then also from the same batch of leads, and making the phone calls, I connected with a couple in California that ironically, his parents, who both passed away, their house is about 15 to 20 houses away from mine in the same development, same street. And I met with them last week, and basically they want to keep it, but they want to rent it out, so I'm going to manage it for them and get a management fee, and it'll be about $1,500 to $1,600 of a rental. And then also in conversation found out, so the wife owns a free and clear duplex in a very popular suburb as well that I'll be listing from them towards the end of this month. So all in all, it was a very successful batch of leads, and on to the next batches.
Great story. Thank you. Go ahead.
The duplex has nothing to do with the probate, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. What's that?
The duplex that you're going to be listing, that's outside of the probate case, right?
Exactly. That was something that they just happened to bring up that she's owned for a while, and they just want to move on from it and not deal with it. So it just happened.
So I want to underscore that. You guys hear me tell you that we have stories all the time. We don't often hear them here. Had you let off the gas and said, okay, well, you don't have anything to sell, have a nice day, then you would have missed the opportunity to become the property manager, which probably in 12 months you'll be the listing agent on that one too, when they realize that it's not what they thought it was going to be. But because you stayed on the phone and found ways to provide value, they respected you as a real estate professional. You got that other listing that is completely unrelated to a probate case. So the reason I bring that up is a lot of people are quick to scrub leads or hang up and move to the next lead. And if you just ask good questions and focus on the people, you'll uncover opportunities like this all the time.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Rob. Appreciate you sharing, and keep that up. Make all of your listings threefers. Get three out of every deal. You're going to be doing well. Congratulations. Good job.
Thanks
for sharing.
All right. Thank you, sir. Next up is phone number ending in 3908. You're up next.
Hi, guys. It's Sam at Richmond.
Hey, Sam. Yes, ma'am.
Chicken dinner.
Well, I just wanted to follow up. I think it was on the last call a couple weeks ago. I said we were going to go out and target some attorney offices and just stop by and see how that goes. I ended up taking Chad's advice and waiting until yesterday to do that. So the reception that we got was way better than I expected. Not that I really expected anything bad to happen, but I just sort of thought it was going to be, oh, yeah, okay, that's great. We'll pass your information along, and then kind of shoo me out. But that's not what happened at all. We got a bunch of trays of cookies that were wrapped up in holiday stuff from a local Italian bakery here, and I hit 7 offices yesterday, 7 attorneys' offices that focused on family law, inherited estate, and divorce. So estate planning, divorce, and then family law. And I think 5 of them did all 3 of them, and then 2 of them just handled divorces. But we passed out flyers and we gave out the cookies, and I didn't speak with any attorneys directly, but all of the either office managers or paralegals that were in the front of house when we first walked in, super receptive, just really excited. Everybody loved the cookies and loved talking to us. 2 different of them said we've never had a real estate agent walk in like this, and that's great because we always have people that we need to refer. So and I just went in, hey, we want to refer business to you. We're looking for an attorney partner. Would you guys be open to that? And then just kind of got into other conversations. But we had a really super warm reception. Didn't get anything from it, like any direct contact or anything from it yesterday, but I imported all of them into our CRM. I have them all on drip campaigns now, and wrote everybody a handwritten note that I spoke to, left, the cookies and flyers and business cards and things like that, and it was just blown away about how warm and great the reception was. So that was
That's
something
awesome,
we hadn't been doing before, and it worked out really well. So hopefully it'll actually we'll get something from it, and we'll get referrals and be able to create partnerships from it.
So having been with us for 2.5, 3 years, however long that is, what would your advice be to someone who's just getting started as far as attorneys go? Should they wait 2.5 years or just go do it?
No, definitely do it earlier. And I had just written it off because I was like, oh, people don't use attorneys in our market, and
Right.
I'm kicking myself out because I wish we had done this 2 years ago, when we first started.
So for everybody
this.
listening that wasn't on the last Mastermind call, Sam is in Richmond, Virginia, Central Virginia, and I'm in Southwest Virginia. We don't rarely, if ever, do you see a probate attorney attached to a file. So she went and did the work and found family law attorneys and went out and did it manually. For everybody else on this call, all you have to do is download a PDF from your My Probate Leads section, and you have the list. So Sam has, she's gone above and beyond to try this, and honestly, and thank you so much for sharing. Your reaction is what I hear almost every single time somebody goes and does this for the first time. They're like, they loved me. I couldn't believe it. They loved me. And it's true. Like, agents and investors don't go out and meet with attorneys, and they certainly don't have the type of offer that we're offering. It's like, we can perfectly complement your business in many different ways. Yes, we sell real estate. Yes, we make money from that. But there's a lot of other things we can do that are designed for your client and will help you get files closed quicker and you get paid faster. So, but anyways, so far 100% of people that I've coached that have reported back to me have had a report like yours, Sam. Like, the attorneys are impressed. They ask them to bring more flyers by. Like, some people get immediate referrals. I mean, if it's available, but I'd be curious to see how long it takes you to get a referral now. And I also am curious, if you have any ideas, what is your plan for follow-up? Like, what's your next touch for these 7?
Sure. So the next really idea, the next way to take it further is, like I said, I really didn't get past the gatekeeper with anybody. So the next, and honestly, I'm okay with that because I think that's really a relationship that I need to nurture and foster so that I can get direct access to the attorneys. So the next is really, like I said, I've got them on email drips, the actual either office managers or paralegals on a couple of different real estate trends, things like that, email campaigns, and then once a month we're planning on going back in just to restock the flyers and things like that. And I think probably 2 weeks from now, before that though, probably 2 weeks from now, I'm going to reach out to them with a phone call and actually ask for direct face-to-face meetings with an attorney, and then see how that goes. But really just trying to not trying to overstep the person that's handling, that gatekeeper that you guys, is a phrase I always use, and I always think that's good. But really making the relationship with them and leveraging that to get further into the office.
That's awesome. So obviously Sam has thought this through, and she has put it into a system and probably written it down. So that's the one thing that kind of is really discouraging to me. A lot, like the folks that go do this the first time, they take one day and they'll go drive to 6 or 8 offices and get all excited and come back, and I'd just be shocked at how well it worked. Then they never do anything. And the key is systematizing it, like getting it down into, like you said, I'm going to call back in 2 weeks, I'm going to visit in person in 30 days, and then da-da-da-da-da. You've got a system. You have a plan to get that done. So is it more likely to happen because you've thought it through and written it down and put it in the calendar? Sure it is.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I see a lot of people try this once and they get, they have success, but they don't look at it as a referral system. So just like we market the person representatives every month systematically, we also need to have a referral system for our probate attorneys, family law attorneys, nursing home employees, senior moving companies, elder care attorneys. Like, what's the system? What days do you call? What days do you visit? So anyways, kudos to you, Sam. I mean, you've perfect answer. You're doing everything you should, and it sounds like you've taken the steps to make that sustainable. And I'm sure, a year from now, you're going to have a ton of referral stories to tell because of that one afternoon you spent in November of 18, right?
Yeah, I hope so. And I mean, we're going out next week also to hit another list of attorneys, because there are family law attorneys all over the place, and estate attorneys all over the place. So we're continuously building a list. And so my theory is, and Mark, this was his idea, really his push, but the theory is, if we, for the rest of this month, if we go out once a week and go to a minimum of 5 offices, by that time we'll have, by the end of the month, or at least by the end of the year, we'll have 30 attorney offices who we have information for that we can directly market to. And even if we get 2 of those attorneys and each office has 5+ attorneys, so even if we get 2 of those attorneys that are giving us 2 deals a month, that's still a ridiculous amount of return and increases our business, tenfold. So
for sure.
Yeah.
One idea that I had, Sam, are you comfortable with video?
Sort of.
Okay. Well, you or Mark or somebody on your team, I think I like your approach of warming up the gatekeeper, not trying to push too hard in the beginning of that relationship and just building it with her or him or her. One thing you may do, because they're now your friend, if you sit down, you and Mark, and maybe even an interview format, just talk about what your offer is, the way that you would talk, or the way you would explain it to a family member. Just sit down and explain. We've got a group of professionals here locally designed to help families going through probate, and just make a 2 or 3 minute video of you guys explaining your service. And then the next time you touch base with that gatekeeper, be like, hey, I know Jane Doe's really busy. Do you think you could make sure she gets this email so she kind of understands what you and I talked about? And give them another way. So there's a brochure on the desk, and she may have talked to the gatekeeper about it, but see if you can use that gatekeeper to forward that email so it has more credibility. Like, if I send it to you, can you forward it to Jane? Okay, that would be awesome. Hey, I'll see you on Tuesday. I'll bring some more flyers. And you may, virtually get in front of a lot of those attorneys quicker, sooner than you would in all the other touches that you're planning. I wouldn't substitute anything you said you were going to do. I would supplement it with the video.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, as always, Sam. We always appreciate you sharing. You're always a wealth of information. Congratulations. I'm not sure if you're eligible 2 weeks in a row for the win, but
no, I think the other guy that got 3 deals off one list it beats me any day. So
all right, so he's in first place. Thanks as always. We appreciate you so much. Next up is phone number ending in 5276. You're up next.
Hello?
Yes, sir. That's you.
Yes, hi. My name is Baruch. I'm a realtor in Phoenix, and I set up an appointment with attorneys, and one of the things I get stuck in is where you get to the attorney and, you start explaining what you can do for them and how you can take some things off their plate to make their work a little easier. And so what I did is I told them, look, I have buyers I work with, and most of these buyers, they put properties on their name. So one of the ways I can do is I can basically refer my clients to them so they can put together a trust or a will or whatever it might be. And, I want to be able to figure this out in a way where, where I can do this more often, but in a way that, I set up appointments with the attorneys and they ask, like, they already know why you're there. They know, you want their business. like, what would you put it in a way like, look, I don't need you. I'm here just to see if I can, put you in my team in a way,
How many past clients do you have?
I work with about 30 clients. Out of them, 10 are investors, and once in a while, they ask me like, "What do you do? What do you specialize in?" And I explain to them that one of the ways I get these properties is through probate. And
But are
actually,
you saying you closed 30 deals last year or in your career?
last year.
Okay. So how many past clients since you got your real estate license from the very first closing in this market?
I actively working right now with 10 clients.
Yeah, I'm not so concerned about them. How many people have you represented in your real estate career?
Altogether about maybe 65.
Okay. So if you were to contact those 65 people and say, listen, I helped you guys buy 123 Walnut Street, and just touching base to see how things are going. One of the things we're going to be doing in 2019, because we wanted to really provide a higher level of service for all of our clients, including the ones that we've already helped, is we'd like to offer you an opportunity to sit down for free with our estate planning attorney. That's something we realize most Americans don't have an estate plan or even a will. And that's just something that, as an added level of service, we'd like to offer to our past clients. Would you want me to have Mark give you a call to set up a time? Okay, perfect. And you go through and call all 65 of them and find the ones that don't have a will, that don't have an estate plan, and turn them into a ready and able referral. Then go back to those attorneys and say, listen, I've got 65 clients that I need to help I need to find a partner that can write wills, set up, establish trusts, and talk to my folks about estate planning. And I just wanted to introduce myself and see if maybe we're a good fit. So you open the door with value, and I guarantee no one else that's coming in there has done that. So you're starting the relationship by giving to them instead of the opposite, instead of asking them for something. That's just one idea. It's definitely going to get their attention, because if you've already spoken to them and fielded the lead, and that'll be the first question, like, are you just going to send me a list, or how many people are you sending this to? So you might split it up and say, I'm going to visit 10 attorneys and offer each of them 6 or 11 attorneys and offer them 6 or 5 referrals. You can split it however you want. It could be 2, and you can spread it across, more attorneys. But the idea is to find something you can open the door and start that relationship by providing value first. And naturally, the conversation is going to segue into, well, what do you do? Oh, well, that's interesting. Like, I actually found you because we help a lot of families in probate, and I first noticed your firm name on the probate documents that we gather every month. We have a really cool system to help families that actually might help you guys out. Would you like to hear about it? And the next thing you know, you're in that conversation, but you didn't come asking. You let it happen organically after leading with value.
Okay, got it.
All right. Please come back. Let us know how you do. And congratulations on, like Sam, on not just focusing. There's nothing wrong with the executors, guys. That's your primary focus because they're the now business. But, more and more people like yourself are realizing the executors of the now business, the attorneys, can be a career worth of referrals. So good job going after them, and keep it up. Thank you. Come back and let us know how you're doing, okay?
And also, I requested, I know you guys are booked for Phoenix area. I wanted to get leads, and they said, well, there's three people, for the county, and I wanted to know if anything opened up, available. So I guess I'll call on a different number or support team and try to get that. See how that
actually
works.
When you filled that out and you were told that, I'm sure they put you on the wait list for that county. And you just call and confirm that was done. But every time we reach our maximum number of subscribers in a county, we do start a wait list, and that's how people are able to get in when someone else moves on and doesn't decide to continue doing it. So I'm sure you're already on our wait list.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much for sharing. Next up is phone number ending in 2686. You're up next.
Hi, this is Kevin and Alice. We're a husband-wife team.
Hey, Kevin and Alice.
And just got a couple questions on kind of rehashing stuff you've gone over in the past. But one first question, can you kind of go over again how to deal with people that already have a trust or already have a will? And the second question would be, and I think you kind of alluded to the answer in the first person's question here, but it's similar. We talked to somebody that the deceased was already in an apartment, and where can we go with providing value after that? I know this is kind of rehashing, but it would be good to always go over stuff like that.
You said that the deceased was in an apartment?
Yes.
I would get a move to the morgue. That would be a valuable service.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. The address was an apartment.
This deal is beginning to smell.
All right, guys, be nice.
So where you're getting caught up where a lot of folks do, they look at the deceased last known address. And oftentimes people still own real estate, even though they may have an apartment address, or they may be, their address might match the personal representative because they moved in with the kid and rented their property. So, I mean, until we can do until we find a way to augment the data and tell you specifically if they own something right now or not, the best thing you can do is pick up the phone and figure out what's on the people in situation, figure out, what all they need help with. And usually if there is real estate, that will come to the top really quickly. But we have a program that we've been playing with data augmentation for a while, and we keep getting false positives. But in one of the tests, I pulled a list of county, and there were 12 apartment addresses in that 1 month. And I went and dug in on all 12 of those. Every single one of them had real estate owned, and the price range was between $250,000 and $2.4 million. So had you looked at that and said, well, damn it, that's an apartment, I'm not going to call them, there were like tens of thousands of commissionable dollars that would have been lost had you scrubbed the list that way. So be careful discounting the ones just because they lived in an apartment, because sometimes the apartment address can be, they can have full ownership. It's just an apartment address, especially that was in actually, I think in Los Angeles where I did that test, but also in Manhattan, like you can have $10 million apartments. So be careful how much you try to deduce from the deceased last known address. And then the first part of your question was, remind me what your first question was.
Just kind of go over again if they have a trust or a will,
right?
The best practices about going through that.
So if they're in probate, they obviously didn't have a living trust, and you're not going to find the properties with a living trust on public record. That's one of the big benefits of a trust, is the anonymity. So the way to get to the trust deals is to build relationships with the family law attorneys, the people who are writing these, they're writing these documents. So when something happens, typically that attorney will be the trustee, and the beneficiaries will come to them and say, we know you wrote Dad's trust. Can you please walk us through what we need to do? He passed away. And then that gives that family law attorney has an opportunity to say, oh, well, actually, if you guys need to sell the home, get it cleaned out, this or that, there's a team here in town that does that all under one roof. You should give this person a call. So you can get a lot of referrals from those attorneys who are writing the trust up. It's difficult, if not impossible, to actually do any kind of like outbound marketing to trustees because of the anonymity that the trust gives them. As far as a will, if whether there is or is not a will, probate will still need to be filed if they didn't have an estate, a trust, or if they're not coming in under the small estate exemption. So it doesn't affect the process much. It just changes the title of the person. And we use personal representative as kind of a blanket term because until they have been appointed, you know, and depending on how they got appointed determines their title. So they could be an executor, they could be an administrator, they could be a fiduciary. And the blanket term we use is personal representative. The only real change is if there's a will, they're known as an executor. If there's not a will, they're known as an administrator. But it doesn't really change the process that much, especially from the level from where we're involved. It doesn't really change anything. So you don't have to worry too much about, you know, whether it was testate or intestate. They still have the same problems and the same motivation to solve those problems.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Next up is phone number ending in 9723. You're up next.
Yeah, hi. This is Anthony. I'm in New York. How you guys doing?
Great, Anthony. Thanks for participating.
Yeah, you bet. Really appreciate the calls, and I'm also doing the Mastery program, and I'm finding a lot of good information on there. So if anybody hasn't tried that yet, you should definitely look into it. I guess I'll share like one quick success and then, you know, go into what I originally called for just to at least get a success out there. My first 100 listings or 100 a list of 100 people. I wasn't using your guys' script because I actually didn't come across it, to be honest with you. So I used a different script, which was basically coming from an investor background, but I didn't like it too much. However, you know, I did get a listing out of it. So I think that was just kind of mostly luck, but hey, you know what? The listing is a listing. It's about $350,000, and we're still working on it. We're trying to get it ready for the spring. So anyways, so I'm pretty happy about that. You know, obviously it was a good investment just off of that. Now, the other thing is, so now I'm working a little bit more with your guys' script and some of the things I've heard you, Chad, say on a number of occasions, and I'm just getting, like, off of my first sentence, I'd say it's because, you know, they took a look at me and they didn't like me, but this is a phone call, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Like, the first sentence, boom, they're, like, hanging up. As soon as they hear, you know, so my sentence is kind of like this, you know, open up the conversation. Hi, I'm trying to reach so-and-so. This is so-and-so. Yeah, hi, so-and-so. My name is Anthony. The reason I'm calling is I have a team here locally that has helped many families going through the probate process. And as a part of that, I can't even get past that. As soon as they hear probate process, I have an attorney, click. No, thank you, we're all set, click. And I'm like, I'm like, come on, man, give me a second to hit the ejection, and I'll even call them back and be like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. It seems like, you know, I have my phone is terrible. I think I dropped the call. Sorry about that. In any case, and try to continue, and then they go, oh, look, I said we're all set. Thanks. Click. You know, so I can't get past that to even come up with an ejection. Am I saying something wrong? Did I miss something in that opening, maybe?
No, I mean, so the skill set has to evolve. Like, it sounds like you're getting a lot of competition in your market, and they're just assuming before you have a chance to differentiate yourself, they're assuming you're just like everyone else that they don't want to talk to. And that's probably an investor that threw them a low offer, and now they're just like, the hell with it. We're not talking to these guys anymore. The only way to really defeat it is find a way to disrupt them. And you can do that with humor, like is, you know, the softest way to do it. You can also be abrasive sometimes. If they're giving you at least a few second opening, you can try to pitch to them. If they're just hanging up on you as soon as you say probate, then it's tough to, it's going to be difficult. One of the hooks, or one of the things that we often recommend in this case, if you can just get enough of an opening where you can ask them if they've, like, a lot of the people will say, our attorney has it handled. And you can say, oh, that's interesting. That's what the last 10 people I represented said. Yeah. Would you like to hear more? And you can tell them, listen, one of the first things we address with every family is getting the real estate insured if there is any. So you probably don't know this, but there's a 90% chance if there's real estate in the estate, it's not covered under the insurance plan right now. And usually that's enough to throw their brakes on, and they'll be like, what? What do you mean? And then you can say, well, after a 30-day vacancy, you have to have a vacant policy in most cases. Do you know if you have a vacant rider or if your policy covers vacant property? Because most of our clients, they don't, so we have to help them set up a policy. That's just step one. So I'm not trying to steal money or give you low offers. I'm just trying to make sure you're taken care of, and if you see value in what I do, then maybe we can work together. And you can hopefully get an entry into the conversation that way. If they're not giving you enough time to even get that first few seconds, you may just change up and say something when you call. Be like, hey, my name's Chad. I was just calling to see how aggravated you are people calling you about the probate. And they're going to be like, what? Who is this? And you just need to be prepared to disarm them, because when you blindside somebody like that they can either laugh or they can get pissed. So you just need to keep control of the conversation. Don't let them take control if you're going to play that game. But if you can just stop them in their tracks long enough to be like, wait a minute, this guy's different. What is this about? Then you can have a real conversation. But until then, they're not listening to you. So you got to find a way to disrupt them. And maybe that's humor, maybe that's fear, scaring them about the insurance, or maybe it's just completely blindsiding them from the beginning of the conversation. Like, imagine it as you're walking into a room, and instead of opening the door or knocking or ringing the bell, you just kick the damn door in and walk in and be like, I'm here with Christmas cookies. Everybody's paying attention, right? So you might need to find a way to just kick the door in and say, okay, let's talk about this. And don't be afraid to try stuff, man. I mean, try different humorous things, and you'll eventually find what works. And then everyone else will be struggling to figure out why the hell what they're doing is not working.
Right. Well, let me ask you, I was playing around with this idea of just saying, we're like a volunteer service. Do you think that's a bad idea, a bad approach? I mean, because I kind of feel like we are doing it, but I also don't want to feel like I'm lying about it.
I wouldn't call it a volunteer service, because then they're going to want to trim your commission out if you do get to that point, right? So I would change your terminology and you could call it a community service. There's a letter. One of the things, so it's a good idea, and I wrote a letter in Colorado Springs, which is a fiercely competitive market, surprisingly. But if you go into Mailbox Motivator, letter and postcard samples, there's a letter in there. It's a front and back letter called Probate Social Enterprise. And I wrote that letter for these really, really competitive markets. And as some homework, I'd like for you to read that. You might be able to pull some ideas or language out of that will help you accomplish what you were just thinking about.
Okay. All right. Yeah, appreciate it.
So it's not necessarily saying we volunteer or we work for free, but we do this as a community service. We consider it a social enterprise, not a business. And, that's going to get attention, because most people probably haven't heard the term social enterprise. It's a pretty recent kind of millennial term, and maybe that's how you answer the phone. Hi, my name's Chad. I'm from a local social enterprise, and I just wondered if you had 2 minutes. At least you can get them to talk to you. What the hell is a social enterprise? Oh, I'm glad you asked. And then roll into the conversation. And just don't be afraid to try anything like that until you figure out what works.
Okay, cool. All right, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Great stuff, Chad. So is our company, All the Leads, are we a social enterprise?
We are a social enterprise. I just haven't told you yet.
First time I do that. Thank you. I'll use that. My sales team, I'll turn that loose on them. All right, guys, great timing. We have 2 more people in the queue. We probably can squeeze in 1 or 2 more if anybody else. This is going to be the last call, and then I'm going to close the queue. Hit *6 and hit 1 now, or wait till next week. Next up is phone number ending in 8146. You're up next.
Hi, guys. My name is Sue. I'm a current ISA for Mass Market. And what we are doing right now is doing a probate calling. What I'm going to be asking right now might be asked a few times before, but probate calling is a bit hard for a starting team. Like, in a week we are getting 2 to 5 appointments, but not all of those are 100% selling. As long as they agreed to meet us, just for the value of the house, we go get for it. What would be the best practice that you can share us to increase this value or this appointments per week that we are currently having right now?
So it sounds like you're failing miserably with only 2 to 5 appointments a week. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a bit, yes.
I'm just kidding. About half the people on this, I was being sarcastic. I was being funny. Most of the people on this call would kill to fail that badly. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah. So just so I'm clear, you're an ISA for a subscriber?
Yes, for Jones Komersky.
Okay. Have you reviewed any of the past role play calls?
Yes, we did. We are doing a weekly role play calls. There is one from the company as well. We tried to tweak the scripts as well. Well, the first call really helped us. That's one thing that we haven't tried yet, so we can try that too. But other than that, we think that we're not really sure if the people that we're calling are really probate, because sometimes it's just a representative. Sometimes I get the person that is the homeowner, but he haven't transferred it to probate yet, so we're kind of lost there. And the appointments that we're getting are too low, and we are not really getting the sales that we wanted for the probate. Well, we're not just doing probates though, but we would like to concentrate in probates at this season.
So if you're getting the data from us, if you're a subscriber, then everyone you're calling is a personal representative, and they are going through probate. If they avoided probate by trust or small estate exemption, they wouldn't be on the list. So if you're using our list, they certainly are in probate. The reason I ask about the role play calls, we have about almost 40 hours of archived role play content. And almost anything you're going to hear on the phone has come up on that call, and we've role played it and recorded it. So when you're in subscriber portal, if you go to education and training, conference calls, access call archive, I would encourage you guys to, go back and listen to those calls. The other thing I'll say, and it's so Sam, who was the first caller today, or maybe the second. She's a super ISA. Like, she's able to take it all the way to the listing, like sign paperwork. But with most of the ISAs that I've worked for that haven't actually been really involved in the brokerage side, they just have been on the phones. It's best to back off of that and just focus on setting the appointment for your agent. So rather than trying to take it all the way to a face-to-face appointment or getting it listed, back off a little bit and just say, listen, I'm calling from Chad's office. He's out on an appointment, but he asked me to call you today because he noticed that you're the executor of an estate, and we actually have helped X number of families over the last year, and have a team here built specifically to help families like yours. Is there anything that you guys could use some help with? Okay, great. Well, let me. Would tomorrow at 2 be a good time for Chad to call you? All right, great. I'll have him call you. This number? All right, perfect. And then just move to the next one. So where I see a lot of ISAs fail is they try to go too deep, and they get into territory that they don't really understand, and then they kind of lose credibility and rapport is broken. So if you feel like maybe that's happening, like you aren't real sure about the probate lead type, just try to go a little bit shallower and just be that third party that's just your only reason you're calling is to get them on the calendar, and then bounce and let the agent do what they're best at. Once they're on the calendar, they can convert them.
Yeah, Chad, I was going to give similar advice. It sounds
Jim,
like
I'm gonna let you answer, guys. I've got probate mastery today, so a lot of people sign in early, so I'm gonna jump. Thanks for everybody for participating. See you next week.
Thank you, Chad. Don't anybody go anywhere. We've got 10 minutes left on the call. Chad's got to jump on mastery. Thank you, Chad. I was going to say, it sounds to me like you are setting appointments with anybody who's willing to let you come by. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Right. Right.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
you may want to qualify your appointment a little bit better. Like, go ahead and set it. But when I was a real estate agent, my coach taught us to kind of it's kind of an audacious call, but once we set an appointment, we'd call back and just, hey, I wanted to ask a few questions about the property, and then ask them. So when we come out to see you Tuesday at 4, if you're comfortable with what we have to say and, you're happy that we can get the home sold, are you planning to list with us on Tuesday at 4? It's kind of a bold question, but it surprised me how many people would either say, oh, no, I'm not selling the house for 6 months, and okay, well, then, thank you, at least you know. And I'd have a lot of people say, yeah, oh, yeah, if we're happy. So it's kind of good to know before you go out there, and then you can make the decision. It kind of sounds like you might be going on too many unqualified appointments. And talk to your agent. I mean, make sure that that's what he or she wants. I mean, maybe they are just building a sphere of influence, and they want you to do it, but if you're setting a ton of appointments and not getting any of them, it just sounds like you may need to do a better job of qualifying the appointments you're setting before you go out. You follow me?
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
All right, excellent. We have 2 more people in the queue, and I'll do the best to handle Chad's role on the remaining 2 people. I've never heard of this guy before. Roger Lacey, you're up next.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well today.
By the way, that was sarcastic. Roger, go ahead. I'm sorry, sir. I interrupted you.
Go ahead. No, you go. You want you go, and then I'll go.
I was going to qualify my sarcastic remark. Roger's one of our best most long-term clients. He's always got something good to say. So appreciate you participating. Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate that. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, got your Christmas shopping list prepared and getting it all done and going into a great holiday season. I'm walking through a house waiting for a buyer to come in to write an offer on a probate house. I just got word today that the property there's 2 properties in the estate in 2 separate small towns in northwest Arkansas where I'm at, one in Farmington and the other one in Prairie Grove. And been working with the attorney and the personal representative. I think the thing that caught both of their attention, and everybody's looking for what's going to differentiate themselves in the initial conversation. I think what really caught the attorney's attention and the personal representative's attention was among my charming personality was the value point that my job is to make sure that the estate does not sell the property for too low of a price. And how I can do that is in many cases is I will be looking at the house with FHA appraisal clearance. Safe, sound, and sanitary is what an FHA appraiser looks for. If it fits those things, you don't have to have granite countertops and fresh paint on the property. You can still sell a property with FHA clearance. There may be some minor repairs that need to be done, but I'm not putting in a paint job in the houses. I'm going in to doing a good clean job on the property, and if there's some minor things, a window needs to be repaired or something like that a FHA appraiser will come in and look at. Those are the things that I think that you can get out of an investor mentality in the purchase in the sale of the property. You're not going for the high end homeowner. You're going in for the low end homeowner on the property, and that gives you an opportunity to get anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 more on the house over the price and over the net that you would get with an investor. That's probably what my team and I do better than anybody else in the market. Plus, we have clean out crews and donation crews, and I have estate sellers to take care of the personal property in there. And it costs the real lead in line is my job is to keep the estate from selling the property for too low of a price in this marketplace, because there is a low inventory for purchasing houses and for houses available in listings, and the prices are escalating, and investors are jumping at anything that they can flip or buy and hold. And even you can get a better price from an investor who is going to look at the property that is going to be a buy and hold, and they're going to hold it for 5 years and get rent out of it, as opposed to somebody who's going to flip it. So I'm segregating a marketplace from both the buyer side and the estate side, and it differentiates me because certainly I know you've got investor offers. My job is to get you better, and here's how I do it. So I just wanted to share that, and that's what I used on this one, and I'm going to be beginning to use it on the moving forward. And I've been experimenting with that over the last year, and it's worked well for me.
Great nuggets, Roger. As always, thank you so much. So you're letting the attorneys know that you're actually going to do your job to thoroughly and completely represent the seller. You know, do what's best for them, and I'm sure that gets their attention. It's a unique approach, rather than just how can I sell the house quickly.
Yes, and the other side of that is, and we all know to say, I hope that I can help the attorney. To the attorney, I'll say, if you need help, I can certainly provide you with help. I have a very good title company, and if you want us to file it for you, we'll save you spending money. Just send the file over to the title company, and they will record the court order for selling the house. And in Arkansas, you have to have a court order to sell a probate house. And so I'm helping the attorney because he doesn't have to spend $150 to file something at the probate court. My title company will do it and take it out of the proceeds from the sale of the property.
Great ideas, my friend. Virtually every prospective client I speak to, we get asked a lot, what's your conversion rate? And I said, well, I'll give you two extremes. We've got a guy in New York City that gets 300 deals and does 300 leads and gets 3 deals. Then we've got a guy, Roger Lacey in Arkansas, that gets a lead every once in a while and just squeezes every single deal he can get out of it. You do a better job of that than anybody we've ever had. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing. Thank you so much, sir.
I appreciate also the referral network of attorneys. I haven't done a good job of that this year, even though I recognized it, that it was an important part of the business. And I appreciate the setting them up on a CRM and keeping them in keep a touch going at least once a quarter to them. So I think that's a very important part of what we're doing. So I'm looking for great things and moving forward this year for 2019.
Thanks again, my friend. We got one more person in the queue, and we're going to go just a couple minutes over on the call. Last up this week is phone number ending in 2264. You're up last.
Hello, this is Jay Willis up here in Calhoun County, Washington.
Hey, Jim. Jay.
Yeah, I just got my second set of leads and have had call them up, and we've been mailing out your mailing system, plus I've been mailing them a book, a probate guide. So I got a couple appointments set up and a few that might work out.
Great.
I did it. The only question I had was on one of the last ones here. The personal representative had not gotten material, and we noticed that his address was the same as the property address. So we don't know. He's not getting the material because and I think this is the same on a few others, because their address is the same as the property address, and we know it's got to be a different address. I sent him an email because your ISA was able to get an email out of him, but he never answered. He said he was interested in material I would send him, but he gave his email, but he hasn't answered. I was asking for his address. I was thinking that maybe if they saw that they had the same address as the property address, while they had him on the phone at the time, it'd have been probably a little easier to get the address, his own address from him, so we could mail him.
Okay. Well, Tim's on the line. He manages our ISAs. Tim, do you have any comment on that? I mean, yeah, it's another.
Yeah, I do. It's an interesting. That's an interesting observation. It's not usual, and what we will do as a result of you raising this is, I'll just kind of add it to the list of things we look for. I mean, we learn every time we do this, ways to make this better. So I will make sure that our folks actually take a look at that. And if it's convenient and easy for them to go do that, they will. I mean, the intent is to try to get that appointment for you, and that's first and foremost on their list. But if they do that and they're able to get it, we'll make sure that they confirm the correct address if that's something that you'd like to get, because you want to send your book out to them as well. The other thing I was going to suggest to you is that you may want to, if you're having us do your mailings, if you've got a little booklet or something you'd like to send out, if you'll send us a copy of or a sample of the book, we may be able to save you some dough by doing that all in one mailing for you. That way you can get it done quicker and put your very best foot forward. So we'll help you with that as well if you're interested.
Yeah, I hate to ship books to you and send them out. We've just been mailing them out here directly. In between your mailing, when you do your mailing, I mail the book also. So they've been asking about it in the calls, and I was just thinking, that would have been dang convenient, because here's a fellow that says, yeah, I'd like to get the information, but I haven't gotten it, and the reason he hadn't gotten it is because he probably hasn't even got your letters, because he's at a different address. And if we just could probably just verify, well, what's your address? Where do you want us to send it to? So if they haven't got it, then I went back through it. I said, yeah, a lot of these folks say that we don't have the personal representative's address. I guess that isn't getting pulled from the courthouse, or they're just using the property address.
Yeah, I mean, and typically the only time that occurs in most cases is when the personal representative is either the surviving spouse or a child who's moved back home or something like that. It's typically unusual for them to show that as the address. So that's kind of unusual for your county, but we'll definitely take a look.
Yeah, this one, his sister had passed away, so it was a brother. So I don't know where he lives, but
I mean, like I said, it's in all the time we've been doing it. First time anybody's asked, and I'm not going to blow your question off. We'll take a look and we'll see if it's common in your county.
Yeah, I don't know. Might be. Like I said, nobody else had been doing this in this county, so that's why I decided to try it.
Sure. Well, that's great, and it sounds like you've gotten some good traction early on. I think that's super. And please call back and let us know how you come out with some of the appointments that you've made and all that. Keep us posted. We'd love to hear good things.
Yeah, I'd like for it to go ahead. We only had, this was bigger than last month. I think 11 leads, and this month was 20 leads, but unfortunately only able to get through to 1 out of 20. People just don't answer their phones anymore.
Well,
yeah, and we've talked about this so many times. Keep those 20 and call them a month or two from now, and these leads season extremely well. Don't just because you didn't get through to them the first time, keep trying. They may be just overwhelmed, and as time goes by, they're eventually you'll get a hold of them. If anybody's going to get a hold of them, it'll be you. But just don't call once and give up. Keep trying.
Well, the other thing that, Jim, I was going to say is that one of the things that we're doing now from the ISA standpoint is we're taking a look at when we're making the calls. Chad's got some statistical data about when are, the best times to reach people and all of that. I think that probably, and here first, I think that is the MIT study, and I think that's great. That's in general. I think, unfortunately, the personal representatives tend to be people who work regular jobs, and they're not at home, and they're probably away from wherever that phone is, unless it's their cell phone. They're away from it during the day, so we're doing some shifting and moving some people around and calling later in the evening and things like that to try and make it better, and also looking at if you do it over a 3-month period, which is kind of what we recommend, we're trying to vary those calling times for each of the lists so that we're calling your list at a different time as we go through this, and so hopefully we'll even do a better job getting people to answer that phone for you.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Appreciate it. All right, guys.
Yeah, I'm in your master class now, so.
Okay, go get them.
Right,
Thank you.
We'll get on it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Great call. We ran a little bit over. I want to thank you all for being here today. Great attendance, and I always end these calls the same way. Thank you so much for showing up. We very much appreciate the 4 or 5 success stories and all the people that actively participated. And you heard some great ideas today, exceptionally good call for new ideas. Take one thing, one thought, one story that inspired you on today's call. Go out and put it into practice and come back next week and share your results with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week, and we will talk to you same time next Thursday. Take care.